What's up guys, Jing Yuan to drop between 1.5 to 1.6 is my total speculation. I'll let you know the reason for why he may drop, how good of a character he is, and if he's worth summoning for. So, we all know Sealy will be getting a rerun banner in 1.4, and now Jing Yuan was the second character to drop, Sealy was the first. So, in terms of order, Jing Yuan would be the next character to have a rerun banner. Now, in another MiHoYo game, Genshin Impact, they are currently releasing rerun banners every version. Now, this is why I want to say it's going to be between 1.5 to 1.6. They may drop it straight after in 1.5, or they may give us a break and drop him in 1.6. But either way, the next rerun character will most definitely be Jing Yuan. Now, as a character, in 1.5 to 1.6, is he worth summoning for? Jing Yuan is a lightning erudition character. Now, a lot of people offer buffing erudition since it's not able to keep up with hunt and destruction characters, and with Jing Yuan especially, he's a bit clunky in my opinion. He's good enough to clear MOC 10, and a lot of people have done so, I myself have not, but for why he is clunky, Jing Yuan's main source of damage would be the Lightning Lord, which is considered as a follow-up attack. Now, a lot of people wouldn't have realized this, but his Lightning Lord deals damage similar to Kafka, Danhang, in the sense that they will target one main enemy and they will deal a small amount of damage to the adjacent enemies. So Jing Yuan's Lightning Lord, it will target one enemy at random and it'll deal the most damage to that one enemy, and it will deal a smaller amount of damage to the other enemies. Now, if you're going up against a boss and it's got a few mobs, the Lightning Lord may target the smaller mob and will deal small damage to the boss, which a lot of people are not happy with. Now, this is my Jing Yuan. His stats aren't the greatest. His light cone is the Birth of the Self, which is this Herta light cone. Increases the follow-up damage by 24%, and if current HP of the target is below 50, then it increases by an extra 24. As I said, the main source of damage is the follow-up attack, so you don't really need to think about anything apart from the follow-up attack damage. His traces are alright. The talent will be the one you'll mostly want to focus on, as that will buff the Lightning Lord's damage. His relics, of course, would be the 4-piece lightning set, and yeah, as you can see, my crit rate and crit damage stats aren't the greatest. Now, moving on to another small issue with Jing Yuan is that he is heavily crit focused, essentially meaning that you will have to have great crit rate and crit damage. So if you aren't able to pull this off, he does not hit as hard as you'd want him to, in which I do remember a lot of people pulling for him were not happy with his damage, as they were expecting him to do a lot more. For his supports, Fu Xuan, a lot of people would know, is amazing for Jing Yuan, as she is able to buff crit rate, and Tingyun, as she is an amazing lightning support, as well as being able to buff Jing Yuan's damage. Now, if you have those two characters, summoning for Jing Yuan may be a great option for you, as you'll have the necessary supports for him, and unfortunately, those two are the only characters that can really help him out. That's due to Fu Xuan being skill point efficient, and Tingyun only wanting to use her skill every 2 turns. Jing Yuan as a character is skill point hungry, as you need to use his skill attack to increase the Lightning Lord stacks in order to do more damage with the Lightning Lord. If you use a single attack, it won't give any stacks for the Lightning Lord's damage. So a character like Bronya with Jing Yuan would be absolutely terrible, as Bronya would always want to be using her skill, and if you use Jing Yuan's skill every turn as well, then you will have no skill points for your defense and heals, so you're going to leave your team vulnerable. If you are lacking on a lightning AoE damage dealer, my opinion would be to wait for Kafka, as she is just a better character in dealing damage and overall, of course. But jokes aside, Kafka is an amazing AoE damage dealer and she's a dot procer. But if you're fully committed to go in for Jing Yuan, one tip is that his light cone, in my opinion, makes him a completely different character. His light cone is just amazing. As you can see, increases the wearer's crit damage by 36%, increases the skill and ultimate damage by 18%, and follow-up damage increases by 48%. Now that's only at S1. S5, it becomes a different breed, but of course you'll have to wait for that one. I've used a few of my friends' Jing Yuans that have just the light cone and S1, no constellations, and it's a completely different character from mine, because I've got the 4-star Herta light cone for my Jing Yuan, and he isn't able to deal as much damage as I'd like him to. Whenever I use my friends as a support, it deals immense damage, like crazy numbers, and the crits with their Jing Yuans are really consistent. One thing I may say, that his light cone is really worth it, as it's currently the best erudition light cone in the game as well, and yeah, it works for any erudition character essentially. You can slap onto Himiko if you wanted to, but yeah, it's the best in slot for Jing Yuan of course, and as I've said, it's going to completely change Jing Yuan. But as always, there'll be better characters to come out, there'll be better erudition characters. We're hoping for a erudition buff. Jing Yuan may be better in the future, we don't know now, but by the time his rerun banner comes out, you never know. They may buff him, they may not. And overall, in terms of damage dealers, of course there's going to be better ones. There are better ones in the game currently, such as Jing Liu releasing 1.4, Dan Hang that's already gone. Kafka will be a better AoE damage dealer that will be having a rerun soon after Jing Yuan's. I believe there's a few more characters to go before Kafka gets her rerun banner. But yeah, to summon for Jing Yuan in 1.5 to 1.6 is, of course, as always, completely up to you. If you like the character enough, then definitely go for him. But if you're looking in the meta standpoint and you're free to play and you're not going to go for consolations or superimpositions, he may not be the best character to summon for. But yeah, as I've said, completely up to you. His animations are great. The Lightning Lord is pretty cool. It is amazing to see when he deals numbers, which, as I've said, the light cone is necessary for that. It could be possible to deal crazy amounts of damage with him without his light cone, but I've not gotten to that point yet, as getting crit rate and crit damage on my Jing Yuan is just impossible because my RNG is crazy bad. Well, that's all I've got to say about Jing Yuan's rerun in 1.5 to 1.6. I do hope he actually drops, because then I can just say I was correct about that. But yeah, overall, if you like to summon for him, go for it. He is still a good character, somewhat clunky though in my opinion. If this video was informative in any way and you enjoyed, leave a like, drop a comment maybe about Jing Yuan or just Honkai Star Rail in general, and maybe subscribe for more Honkai Star Rail content. And yeah, that's all for me. Catch you guys later.